It's a video game adaptation and it's not terrible. Yes, times are changing and it's time for us to talk about The Last of Us.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. You keep going for family.
I'm not family.
No, you're cargo.
Hello and welcome to Screen OD, a channel for people who love TV, movies and streaming. My name's Tim, I'm an editor and a journalist who's been writing and talking about the media industry for more than 15 years. And today we're talking about The Last of Us, which is an adaptation of a huge video game which came out in 2013. And of course there's The Last of Us 2 as well. So this is a franchise that has a huge amount of fans, and every time it's been brought onto a new platform, it has won over more and more fans in the video gaming world. So can it do the same job in the TV world, we ask?
Why are you so important?
Somewhere out west, they're working on a cure. I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches, don't.
Okay.
Generally speaking, it's fair to say that video games don't turn into movies, and it is usually movies or TV shows particularly well. There have been a lot of examples of trying it in the past where people in the studios have thought, we've struck gold here, we've got something that's got a huge loyal fan base, let's turn it into a big screen or a small screen production. But then what happens is that the movie or the TV show that's made, and it is usually a movie, isn't very good. There are some examples. I don't like to point out examples, but there are some fairly obvious ones from the likes of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. You've got things like, I know some people like the Super Mario Brothers movie. Not really for me. Now, there are things like Lara Croft Tomb Raider. You have the original version with Angelina Jolie, and there was a follow-up to that. Some people were fans of that. You know, it had a certain fun charm to it. But let's face it, it wasn't exactly high art in the movie world. So there are lots of examples, and that's just a few of where it hasn't worked. So when you go into a show, which you know is based on a video game, there's always a certain sense of trepidation where you think, actually, is this going to be another one of those? And the good news is, it isn't. This is actually a really good show. This is a TV show that actually, if you're not a fan of video games and you haven't played the game that it's based on, you probably wouldn't even know that it was based on a game at all, which is a compliment in many ways when it comes to this type of show.
I'm taking you with me. You do what I say when I say it. You got any advice on the best way west?
Yeah, go east. You've come this far, and you know what's out there.
Now, unlike some shows that have gone before it in this video game to screen market, this doesn't feel like a gimmick and it doesn't feel rushed. This is a show that's made by HBO, and anyone who knows TV will know that this is a hallmark of quality in drama, and certainly this looks no different to any other quality HBO drama. It is gloriously presented on screen, immersive in the way that it's put together. This is a show that will draw you into its world very quickly, and what a world it is. We're set 20 years after an apocalyptic event begins in 2003, when a kind of fungus-like stuff starts to infect humanity and turn them into zombies. 20 years later, we start to see the story unfold.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
Just like the video game, the story's main narrative is around two central characters. Joel, who is played by Pedro Pascal, who you'll know from The Mandalorian in recent times. His character is charged with the task of transporting a teenage orphan, Ellie, who is played by Ramsey in the series, across post-apocalyptic America. This is not going to be an easy task. This is going to be a dangerous dangerous time because there are zombies everywhere, there are people out to get them, there are authorities who are trying to stop the infected, and this is basically where we find ourselves in the show. This is a show that definitely has its fair share of darkness, of action, of a sense of impending doom about it. But it's also a show that has a very, very deeply drawn characters and relationships between them. This starts, of course, with Joel and Ellie, who have a relationship that develops as the show goes on, becomes more and more interesting and fascinating, especially as we start to know more about how Ellie could perhaps hold a potential secret to finding a cure to all of what is going on in the world.
You might not be her father, but you were someone's.
You trust me?
Feels like the success of The Last of Us comes from two angles, really. Firstly, the co-showrunners of the programme, Neil Druckmann, who is the original video games creator, alongside Craig Mazin, who you may recognise the name as writer and producer of Chernobyl, which is a huge hit for HBO and Sky a few years back. There is a feel of Chernobyl to quite a lot of what's going on here, this kind of post-apocalyptic feel, the darkness, the grimness, the kind of the feeling of being trapped, constantly surrounded by forces who are trying to stop you from getting out of that environment. And the second part is that the acting performances, the two central performances, are really, really very good. Pedro Pascal, this kind of complex, kind of almost cyber cowboy type character who really brings alive a darkness, a fearfulness, and also a strength of someone who you feel has to make it through this somehow. And then you've got a really exceptional performance from the younger Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie, at the same time as obviously being vulnerable in a world where things are pretty much completely out of control. If you're looking for a drama that's got something a bit different, whether or not you're a fan of the original game or someone who just wants to find some escapism in an interesting story in a world which has certainly got a lot to offer an audience, then why not give The Last of Us a go? If you are in the UK, it's available to watch on Sky TV and on Now, and if you're in the US, it's on HBO, and the episodes come out weekly. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, why not hit like, and don't forget to subscribe to Screen OD. We'll see you again for more videos very soon.